Hardstuck and Aeternum is we're gonna be talking everything New World. Everything New World. And that goes from Pritch, you take it away. What are we talking about?
Dude, talking about any and everything New World, man. Builds, weapons, what's fun, what we're doing, what we're liking, what we're not liking, just everything, man. We're loving the game, and we just want to have a podcast talking about it.
Yeah, I can't stop talking about it. As like I see your YouTube videos, I eat up anything New World, and I can't stop. So, Pritch, how about you tell us about yourself?
What do you want to know? I'm not
You
single.
tell me.
I'm married.
Okay, same. Now you tell me. Tell me. Let's do this. Tell me why you started streaming. What do you do for streaming? What do you do on YouTube? And tell me about a little bit of Hardstuck. How you got involved?
All right, so streaming was something that I started 6 months ago, and that started because I over the course of my career playing a lot of soccer, I got a lot of concussions, getting hit to the back of the head, and I got like 7 or 8 concussions. And they have started to take a toll on me and give me a lot of mental problems. And that started interfering a lot with work. And when recovering through all that, I basically found myself just like sitting there playing video games all the time. And I was just like, okay, instead of just playing video games, what if I started to try and stream? And I've always liked, teaching and instructing people, whether that be like in soccer or in law school stuff or whatever. Like I always enjoyed that. So I was like, what if I start making some guides and things like that? And yeah, that's kind of blossomed to now. I every time I try to play on my computer, I just turn the stream on, and I started making a lot of YouTube content and started making a lot of guides. And so like New World content wise, it's been all weapon guides, and I'm gonna wind up having a weapon guide out for each weapon in the game before launch. So super happy and excited about that. And it's been getting a lot of positive feedback from the community, and I think I've been hopefully doing a good job explaining the weapons. What was the last part of the question?
You lost me. No. Where can they find you, my friend? Where can they find you?
You can find me at Pritch on YouTube or Pritch5 on Twitch. You can find me at Pritch. Oh gosh, what's the Twitter handle? I think it's Twitch Pritch5 on Twitter because I had to go through like 18 different variations before they finally said no, nobody has your name.
Yeah.
So yeah, Twitch Pritch5 on Twitter, and everything else is just Pritch or Pritch5. How about you, Beef? Give us the rundown on you.
I'm just a guy that likes to play video games. No, I started streaming and started doing YouTube for a couple of reasons. Uh, I got pretty lonely. I moved from British Columbia here in Canada all the way to Alberta, and I got pretty lonely. And me being a sales rep or in the sales industry, I wanted to do something like this, like for streaming. I like you said, I do like teaching. I was a meat manager at one time, and I had apprentices, so I did like doing that. So, long story short, you can find me BarDownBeef on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, just like Pritch over here. Um, it's pretty much whatever Pritch is doing. I'm kind of emulating it. It's pretty much the same thing. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I got a wife and 2 kids, and full-time job, and it's just I love New World. I think it's brings me back to the days where I'd play Diablo 2 for hours and hours and hours, and I'm trying to relive that and keep the child alive inside me. Really what it is. So, but the reason, like we said before, the reason why we're doing this is because we love New World. We want to just talk about the game. I feel like everything the game is very like synergized, I believe, uh, and it's just it's nice to talk about. And right now, the start of the podcast, I'm going to be very rusty, trying to get my opinion out and throwing it to Pritch. So bear with us. It's the first episode, and when you can find us is every 2 weeks on every Thursday. So the next episode will be on what day will that be? There, Pritch.
Should be the 16th.
16th, you got it. So we're gonna do it on the 16th once again. And how you guys get involved is that Pritch is gonna be posting this to his YouTube, and I'll be posting on my YouTube. So we're gonna go together. Anything in chat you guys say, if we like the comment, we're gonna shout you out, and then we'll read out your question to us. If it's one that we really like, and we'll say it on the next podcast. So like, let's say we like Mike Skull Gaming, we like one of his comments. We're gonna sit down and say, hey, this guy had a good question, this guy had a good question, and we're gonna answer it on the next podcast. If that's how you guys want to get involved, that'd be great. And more stuff like that to come. It's so, not that's just very surface level.
Definitely feel free if you guys have any questions for us, leave it in the comments on either of our pages, or let us know wherever we're posting. Where are we posting this on the podcast sites? Where can they find us?
All your major podcast sites, Spotify, it's Apple Play now, or whatever, iTunes. I'm an Android guy, so that stuff is just, I believe it's iTunes, it's Amazon Music, and it's Spotify and YouTube. You're gonna be seeing it there. So all the major guys, I'll be posting it. And if you guys find this on Twitch, you find this on Twitter, you find this on YouTube, there'll be links all below in the description, so you guys can find us whenever you like. But yeah, are you ready to talk about beta and patch notes, Pritch?
Let's do it.
Okay, patch so when notes. We're gonna oh yeah.
Did you get your hands on something that I'm not aware of?
Exactly. So as you guys know, beta comes out September 9th. And the best part about September 9th is that you don't have to wait. You can get a preload on September 8th. Now, how you guys get to that is if you go to your Steam page, you go to the Steam page and it'll say opt in on open beta. So make sure you guys are there on September 8th to opt in the open beta. You don't have to pre-purchase the game. You just go there and you go to the Steam store page and you go there on September 8th, and boom, you can go tune into the you can go get the game. Is there anything you want to add to that, Pritch? What will you be doing?
Honestly, I might not be able to do the open beta. My brother and sister are actually getting baptized on the 12th, which is the Sunday, and I might be traveling down to St. Louis to go be with them during that. So I actually might not be able to do the open beta, which is going to be a little unfortunate because I really wanted to see if they made any tweaks or changes to any of the weapons and how they interact or their coefficients or anything like that. But yeah, I actually might not be able to do it, but we're going to see. We'll see.
Oh man, I'm gonna be a neckbeard all weekend long, but I won't be playing late on. Well, I won't be playing during the day on the Sunday, which is the last day of beta. I will be going to Drumheller with family, so kind of the same scenario, but in a totally different way. We're gonna go see dinosaurs. So that's a famous place here in Alberta.
I mean, the good part about, like, in my opinion, right, the open beta is for all the people that didn't play in closed beta. It's going to be everyone's chance to, like, just feel New World, see what it's like, experience the world for a couple days, see if the combat system is up their alley and if it's something that might be fun for them. So I don't think necessarily, like, me or you is necessarily, like, the target audience for this. I think it's all the people that didn't get to. But I'm excited to see what kind of numbers show out for it.
Yeah, and I think one of the things they're testing here is definitely going to be server loads. They're definitely going to be testing wars. I played in 2 wars that I got drafted to in the closed beta was it July 20th to August 2nd or August 1st or something like that. I can't really remember. But it was the first war I jumped into was great. We won. Got a bunch of kills. Second war I got into was a bunch of Syndicate tryhards, and I got absolutely ran over, and it was not good. But there was one point where I would go into a gravity well, and how they built the front line against the Syndicates we were playing is they would throw out it was the fire staff. Is it meteor shower? Was it meteor? Yep. Meteor shower, and then they threw they had the great axe, so they threw gravity wells. So you get pulled into to AoE damage, and you're getting damaged from the gravity well, and people would just shoot at you with bows, anything they have, and it was just not good. So they definitely had something. We weren't defending, we were the offense, and we got ran over. It was a very quick war, and it was very very depressing. So that's what I'm guessing. That's one of the things that they're going to be doing. They're going to be testing in the open beta. Is just wars, server load, and then testing out all the bugs. Did you know I have a bug that I've never talked about, but did you experience any bugs during closed beta?
Oh yeah, a lot.
What was what? What was one that came to your mind? What was one that came to your mind? I have two. I have two. I want to talk
Well,
about.
the first one that comes to mind was I was using my great axe and I used the charge ability, which is the 10-meter dash, while I was in some water, like ankle deep water, like a small little river, and and like I hit a rock and my character just started levitating up in the air and like literally like got up to like a mountain's range height, just levitating in the air. And then I dropped to the ground, and it's funny because there's like very little fall damage, so I only wound up taking like half health from the whole thing. But that was a fun bug that comes to mind. How about you? What was your favorite?
There's two. So in the company that I created, I had one bug is when you would type out the quote of the day or the message of the day, because we're both Guild Wars 2 refugees. I knew Pritch from Guild Wars 2. That's how we met, and being part of Hardstuck, that's how we met as well. But to make the long story short, I was typing like a little message, like quote of the day. It was pretty much yeah, follow me on Twitch, blah blah blah, all that kind of BS, but just joking around. But or I remember one time saying, "Give me your money," because we wanted to buy a territory. And the funny thing is that if you pressed O or you pressed any hotkeys that brings up a menu, it would close down. So like they don't have anything inputted. Like when you're typing, it won't go to a hotkey. That was one very very small. The other one was it was when you were chopping something down or doing anything, chopping wood, mining, picking up hemp, anything, and it was just like you would just go like over encumbered, like
Yeah.
you're overloaded on stuff. It actually make you run, and you can use all your abilities, and you're doing like a
Yeah, and you were glitching out and acting all funky.
yeah, it was great. It was great. But that was it for me. I really hope they fix those bugs, and I really hope they get, you know, test out the servers and maybe add a couple servers, because I know there's a bunch of people back east that are complaining. I don't think there's enough servers in EU, to be honest with you, with their wait times. Their wait times were outrageous. And like, US West had like, I don't know, like I want to say, what was that, 15? Maybe even less. And then US East had how many? Like they had so many. I want to say, like, do you remember how many servers they had for US East?
Honestly, no idea.
I want to say 25. But EU had barely any compared to what NA had, which is a little bit unfair in my opinion. Uh, I like people say, games are made out in the West and played in the East. So it's true. It's true. But yeah, we went over the beta. Is there anything you want to add to that before we get into our next segment? Segment? How would you want to say that?
I think I'm good to
Anything you
go.
want to add?
I was gonna say I don't know how many wars are necessarily gonna be done, because to do a war, like a faction needs to own a territory, then another faction needs to get that territory into a conflict, then they have to raise the money, then put the money into it, and then they gotta wait like another 24 hours or so before the war can even happen. So I actually think there's probably not going to be a ton of wars that happen in the open beta, but I'm interested to see how it plays out, because I mean
I
each territory can really only get into one war max probably.
I guarantee you, I'm willing to put money on it that there is going to be wars on the second day, or even like on Friday there will be a war,
Okay.
guaranteed, guaranteed. I think people can get I believe people can get money right away. I already have a plan, and I think wars, like, people have already practiced. I think there was one YouTube video I watched on how quick you can get a how quick you can get money. I don't believe the time. I don't want to talk out of my ass here, but I believe there's gonna be wars on Friday and Saturday, guaranteed, guaranteed, on the most populated servers. I'll say that, on the most populated servers.
All right. All right. I'm interested
Yeah,
to see if they can get one within 24 or 48 hours.
yeah. Um, But okay. Now, being from Hardstuck, being from Guild Wars 2 community, as this is what we're doing it for, we want to do a little bit of a game here, and I think the best way to do it is New World versus Guild Wars 2.
All right.
Now, I've thought in my head what this is going to look like and what it's going to be, and we're going to go over we're going to go over 5 things, and they're going to be very quick. It's just one statement, what we agreed on, and we're going to try to sway the opinion. Now, Pritch, what do you want to take? Do you want to take New World or Guild Wars 2? It
depends on the question.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's do that. So like you're gonna edit this down for the for the video. So we can make some mistakes here. So I'm not in this camera. I'm trying to get in here. Hold on. Am I
You
in?
look beautiful.
Am I in?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Okay, because I'm like Two-Face over here. Okay, so the 5 things we're gonna talk about from Guild Wars 2 and New World or community, PvP, crafting, player progress, and endgame. Those are the 5 things we're gonna go over.
Okay.
Now, we're gonna argue about it a little bit. I think, well, not like a nice way, but we're gonna start with something nice and fluffy. We're gonna go over community. Now, being the game has open beta, being the game we've played in a closed beta, and we've played a preview event last August. So we're gonna go over community first. So, Pritch, how about you take it off? And what in your opinion, which one has the better community? And I think this is a no-brainer here.
Okay. I'm splitting my answer 50-50. In game, I think Guild Wars 2 has a better community. Out of game, as in like when I post content on YouTube and Reddit and stuff like that, and like talk about this with people outside, definitely the New World community. So in game, the way Guild Wars 2 is structured, like literally the game itself is like designed in a way for people to be super friendly with each other, and it shows. And the community in game is really really nice and really really helpful. And if you don't consider the stupid Mesmer portal people, like everyone's pretty much an awesome person. In New World, you can get some people that are not maybe so awesome in game, that maybe say some things in the voice comms that are like the distanced when you're right next to somebody and stuff like that. And it's a PvP, like open world PvP thing, so it's designed to have a little bit of that like tension in there. But that said, the community not in game, as in like the people that I interact with on Reddit or YouTube or that kind of stuff, like those guys have been freaking awesome. Those New World over the Guild Wars 2 people there, 100%. How about you?
I was gonna say, because of the game is so fragile and so new, I would say my automatic answer would be Guild Wars 2 because the game's been out so long. But I believe, like, I kind of almost want to agree with you, but that's not what that's not what this is about.
It's okay to say I had a good point. That's all right.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. So I'll say this. I'll say that every game has a there's also Assault Fest in every game with PvP. So being a Marauder, being the best faction out of the 3, I'm pretty nice. Syndicates are kind of rude. Covenants are just on their own little planet protecting the spark. So but I didn't have any problems with PvP in this game. I've had problems with Guild Wars 2, but I would have to say Guild Wars 2 overall, like people I've met, actually have. I'm gonna name drop somebody. Snebzor. I met him through Guild Wars 2, and we've had, like, I've drove down and see him. He lives in Alberta, and we've had, like, our families and our kids have hung out. So definitely, I'd say community for me for Guild Wars 2 as of right now. But I really like Guild Wars. I do like the New World community, as in people have been super nice and super welcoming, and I've met a lot of nice creators and people to chat to, and they're open. they're open.
So
Like,
once you find a new world person to go take your family to, then your mind might change a little bit.
yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much gonna. It's pretty much right now. You're right. It's we're both gonna agree on this. Community is definitely New World, but long term is and yeah, we're just gonna agree. We're just scratch that, edit that out. Yeah. Okay, so the next one's gonna be PvP.
I mean, hands down, New World.
Okay. So you're gonna say PvP is better in New World than it is in Guild Wars 2.
1000%.
Why is that?
I mean, the game was designed for open world PvP. Like the way the combat works in Guild Wars 2 is who can press 16 buttons in a row the best. And the way that it kind of works in New World is how well can you literally, if you're using a ranged weapon, aim? How well can you dodge? How well can you time your invulnerability frames through dodging or blocking? There's a lot more. I think there's a lot more gameplay like mechanics that you yourself are able to like utilize to outplay or maneuver your enemies. And I feel like with Guild Wars 2, there's only so many things you're gonna do when you're up against 2 or 3 scourges in one game, and they're just constantly dumping barriers, and then nobody's dying, and I don't know. I think PvP in Guild Wars 2 has a lot that it's still, and I know they recently just nerfed the Scourge in PvP too, but I know there's a lot of balancing issues in Guild Wars 2, and I think in New World there were a lot of different builds and different ways that people could succeed really well in PvP. All right, that's my hot take.
It's a hot take. See, I was thinking like being Guild Wars 2 and having that PvP. I thought it was really good, but you are right. Whoever can plays the piano the best on their keyboard wins. But there is there is a way to understanding the other player. So it's just like any other game. You got to know the other player's spells, and if you're not playing one of the characters and you don't know all their passives, you don't know any of that kind of stuff, then it does hurt you a little bit. But that goes with every game. I do think the maneuverability around Guild Wars 2 is good, but you can change that in New World. You can go from a light equipment load to a medium equipment load to a heavy equipment load. It doesn't really matter. Like, you can dodge. And if you put a heavy equipment load, then you're going to have to go full, not go full con because of diminishing returns, but you're going to have to go con and do something else and help balance it out with your gear. So what I like more is New World. Hence, this is not a biased podcast, but again,
I think it's hard to argue a tab target versus an action cam. Like,
okay.
They're literally designed, like, the action cam takes more inherent skill to use, I guess, if you would call it that.
We know what we should have done? It should have been like ESO versus New World. That's what it should have been. So, but we're here now. But anyway, so what is that? Is that 2 for New World?
2.
Or let's go.
I was a half on the last one, so I'm 1.5 here.
So are we tied? Are you saying that PvP is better in New World?
Yeah, 1000%.
We didn't even talk about wars. We didn't even talk about Outpost Rush.
True.
There's also.
And those, literally, like, the builds that work really well in 1v1s are not the builds that work really well in wars. Like, you legit want to change the way that you're spec'd because it's just a completely different game mode. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, and you could say the same thing with World v World, right?
True.
World v World, true. You have to change. I think I think every type, they're both very similar. I think the difference is, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It's if you like action cam, you like tab target. It's whichever one you want to go to. That's pretty much what it is. You have 2 dodges in Guild Wars 2, where depending on your equipment load, you can dodge more than the other person. In heavy equipment load is like you just duck. With New World, the medium load, you kind of do a quick hop, and you can do quick of them. You can do 2 of them really quick, and then light armor, you can really just double spin, backflip, get out of way. It's just as long as you have stamina, you're fine. It's insane. So,
Please lower the stamina regen. Please, for the love of God.
Really?
It's so bad. It's so high.
So to round out the point there, I'm gonna say they're both equal. But me being biased and loving New World, I do think it's better. As long as I admit it's fine.
We're both on New World for that.
Yeah, okay. Crafting. Oh. Pritch, take it away. Crafting.
Okay. I want to split this into 2 different categories. Gathering the materials, New World, it's not even close.
Yes.
Crafting everything, I don't know. It kind of feels like the exact same. Like, and I say that in a good way. Like, I think Guild Wars 2 does it well, and I think New World does it well. But it feels very similar. Here's what I will say. On Guild Wars 2, one character can only do 2 of the crafting profession things, right? But on New World, one character can do all of them. So in that one sense, I'm going to give it to New World over Guild Wars 2. That really is kind of the only thing that feels different to me from the crafting side of things. Gathering, I think New World did incredible. I love it. The system is amazing. Please change it so that if I kill an animal and Beef walks up to it faster than I do, he doesn't get to skin it. I think that's a little bit of like bullcrap. Like if I spent my time killing this giant bison and Beef didn't even touch it, if you get there before I do, you can skin it before, and I don't get to. So I'm not a huge fan of that aspect, but all the other aspects of the gathering I like a lot.
Yeah, I usually herd my my bison to somewhere in Windsward. Hey, you know what? Not to totally derail. You know what gets me choked is when you're in Everfall and you're in Brightwood or wherever you are, and you're not in Windsward, and there's a quest you have to go hunt one or 5 bison on your town board. Yeah. And you're like, I'm in Everfall. Like I'm not gonna no, I'm just gonna skip that and let the half an hour timer take away. By the way, just so you know, like that's like a tip for leveling if you guys want. Whatever. Just make sure you do the town board you can do really quick.
I mean, if you have the Azoth, you can always fast travel to the hermit dude and then just go kill some bison there.
Yeah, listen, the Azoth is just precious. The precious. You know what? Spoiler alert. I think it's the eternal life essence is Azoth. Okay.
It's deep.
It's deep.
I think it's blue and it teleports you.
Yeah. Moving on. So crafting for me, it's all day gathering. Yes, all day New World. It's the better out of the 2. Even having overcumbered is great. And anything to do with that scenario. Crafting. Yeah, you can, when you hit level 60, there is time gated stuff on doing like legendary items in New World when you're at the end game crafting stage. In my opinion, I did not like the crafting in Guild Wars 2 because there is crafting sites that you can quickly just put your API and boom, it's done. It's really efficient. It doesn't let you figure anything out. There's not there's no training guide. There's no training wheels before you take it off. It's pretty much Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that. It's just there and you have to figure it out and go gather it and then go run back and you have to give the crafting levels up, but that's on you. It's not a community base where it's in your town or your hamlet. That's the right way of pronouncing. I know I'm getting deep here, but I think crafting is better in New World because it actually shows you it's in front of your face and you learn it, and the game helps you learn it. It's kind of just not dropped in your lap and say, here, go craft. You learn it a little bit easier. But that being said, the best thing about Guild Wars 2 is that if you run out of, I can't remember the names, but if you run out of something, you can just like tab. You can have those tabs, and you can, what are they called? You can like tab into it and quickly craft it. Do you know what I'm saying? When you craft ascended gear, you know what I'm talking about?
Like they just like you click on it and it shows you what to do.
Yeah, like you can go deeper into it.
Oh, I know what you're talking
yeah.
about. Yeah, just like how it tabs. Yeah,
how the tabs work when you craft. That's the best thing ever. But makes it too easy. So as long as it's hard, as long as it's fun, and time gated crafting for a 30-year-old man with 2 kids is great, because I want to spend my time. I want to sink my teeth into this game. It's great.
I give it 3 to 4 months before they have something similar to Guild Wars 2 efficiency, where they have New World efficiency, and it's like literally telling you exactly how to get from 0 to 200. I promise you, I promise you that they're probably already making that. It might already exist for all I know.
Add-ons, APIs, it's coming for us. It's gonna just it's the first 3-4 months of this game is gonna be fantastic. Then we're gonna redo this podcast where it's just gonna be called Hardstuck, and there's gonna be no New World in it. It's gonna be all about Guild Wars 2. We're gonna be switching. Just kidding. Player progression. I'm gonna start this one.
Go for it.
We've been hating on Guild Wars 2 this whole time, and I'm gonna keep on pounding that into the ground. Player progression. Player progression in New World is better than Guild Wars 2. If there's a boost in the game that makes you delete, makes you like, you know what? I don't really want to level to 80. We're gonna do a boost. I do not like boosts. I'm against it. I believe you shouldn't be able to boost in any game. I think the best way to do boosts are having a experience booster, so you can level quicker, but you still level up. Because any game that makes you play not through the story and not play through your player progression, because that's part of the game. And that's why New World is so good, because the progression of getting to the end game further lasts anything that I've ever played. Just like Diablo 2, you're constantly leveling. It constantly, like, yes, you do farm the same stuff because the game was made in 2000 or 1999. You constantly have to do that kind of thing. So that's why I would go over New World. Yes, there's no boost yet. Yes, they did have some kind of leak earlier about having a cash shop, but as long as that is for what am I trying to say? Cosmetics, I'm good. Totally good. If they add boosters, I'm not going to be upset. If they add a booster to like craft faster or gather faster, make that 2 years from now or even late next year or a year from now. I don't care. But player progression for me hits a nail on the head with New World. What I'm gonna say about Guild Wars 2, and the reason why I liked playing it, is the player progression, playing through it. It is a catch-22 because I did like leveling. I just don't like that they put a boost in it. Maybe that's it. But I like how you can go get a heart. You can do that heart and you can go back, and then you don't have to go back to the person, hand in your quest. I like how it's fluid. You can just do it, move on, map completion. Go, Pritch. Your turn. Your turn to complain.
Okay, well, I'm going to play devil's advocate for Guild Wars 2 here, because you're comparing a game that came out in 2012 to a game that hasn't even come out yet. Like, when Guild Wars 2 first came out, I don't think there were level 80 boosts. Maybe there were XP boosts. I don't really know. I barely played back then, but I'm pretty confident there weren't level 80 boosts back then. And so, like,
there was not.
Like, when Guild Wars 2 first launched, there was also not that stuff. And for as much as I love New World and as fun as it is, the story sucks. Like, the way the story is now, your progression through Aeternum, it's really bad. Like it's super bare bones. I mean, literally, I could explain to you, oh, in Guild Wars 2, I went and did this, and then I helped this person, I saved this person, and it was this cool dynamic thing, and yada, 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 right? In New World, I went to this place, and then I got a mission to go travel halfway across Aeternum to kill 4 things, and then travel all the way back, and then I turn in the quest, and then I travel halfway across Aeternum again, and I kill 4 more things, and I travel back, and then it's just, it's the same... It's the same. It's just go to this person. They tell you to go somewhere and kill 4 things or interact with this one thing, and then travel 5,000 meters back. Like to me, I wasn't a huge fan of the story. I don't think people that are super story driven are necessarily gonna find a love here in New World unless they want to revamp things or change things. And maybe it's the case where the expansions for New World will have a lot more in-depth story, a lot better story. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that, but I was kind of underwhelmed with the story side here. So I'm going to go from a player progression standpoint. I did enjoy leveling in New World. I thought it was fun. I think it's super repetitive, though. Like, extremely repetitive. If you're just doing town board quests, they're all the same. Kill stuff, gather stuff, craft stuff. Like there's not. I mean, that's it. That's all. Like that encompasses all town board things. If you're doing faction quests, they are the same faction quests. Go somewhere, kill things, or loot chests. And if you're doing the PvP quests, they're literally the same 3 quests that are just on repeat everywhere you go in every city. So like, I don't know. Variety wasn't there for me. I know the game's early on, and it definitely feels pretty bare bones in that sense. But I will give it to Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is super fun to level in. Like, everything's different. Everything's new. You're never feeling like you're doing the same things. Every heart is different, like very different. So for this one, I got to hands down give it to Guild Wars 2.
Okay. I'm going to reiterate my point here. I'm going to still be stubborn, but I'm gonna say you did make a good point. I do have to agree. I just don't like the level boost. I'm just against it.
Which is totally fair. I get it.
You know what? I wish not level. Okay, level boosters I'm okay with. Crafting boosters, karma boosters. I'm not okay with level 80 boosters.
That's fair.
Does that make any sense? That's fair.
I get that.
And that makes me bitter. I did like doing hearts, but map completion just takes too long. End game.
You want to start, or you want me to start?
So hold on, before we go anything, let's draw a line in the sand. What is end game to you?
In which game?
What is end game? Any game. What is end game for Pritch 5?
Doing fun, hard content that can only be achieved through having, like, the end game statistics of whatever that game is providing, I guess. So, like, typically, like in Guild Wars 2, right? Raids, CM fractals,
CM raids. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, right?
So hard end level content is what you're saying.
And masteries. I freaking love the mastery system. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay. All right. Okay. So end game for me is, definitely dungeons and stuff like that. But the rewards on the end game dungeons or raids should be awesome. They should be RNG. They should be great. That goes without saying. End game for me is a mixture of that. Obviously, how good you look, right?
Fashion Wars, I got you.
Fashion Wars. You got to look good. You gotta have like. And when did you hear that?
No, what's up?
Oh my god. Okay, I should turn down my mic. My kid's upstairs. Sorry, better edit that out. My biggest thing is you gotta look good. The stuff you get from endgame content should make you look good as well. So just like WoW, just like Asmongold. I don't know, guys, if you ever heard of him, Asmongold, whatever. he's big into mounts. So like at end game raids or dungeons in World of Warcraft, he would get mounts. And that's what he liked. And I'm roughly against that. Like I'm not roughly against it. I'm with that. I like that you get rewards. I like achievements, end game achievements. I like having your like a crafting end game item. I like showing off that I got to end game. And I also like the content in it, and I like the fashion part of it. So that being said, which one, in your opinion, is better? Which one matters to you the most? I should say that, because what does matter? What's something that you can get locked in and play for hours and hours and hours?
Okay, so I got to level 45 in the closed beta, so I didn't even get to level 60. So I technically haven't even gotten to experience what the end game has to offer, but I see what's available, and I do have a concern that for those that aren't super PvP focused, you don't exactly have a lot of end game stuff. Like, you got some expeditions, and I know that there's more coming. Um, you have open world dungeons. I'm sure more of that stuff is going to be coming as well when we introduce new territories like the desert one and all that stuff, right? But there's not like a ton else other than maybe crafting legendaries. But even then, you're going to have a certain point where you're like, I've crafted the legendaries kind of thing, and I don't know how long that's going to take. So I don't know exactly what the end game's going to look like. I will say Guild Wars 2 has been around for 8-9 years now, so like it's obviously had plenty of time to flesh out its end game, and I think that the end game in Guild Wars 2 just has way more to offer right now, like way more to offer. So I think the end game in Guild Wars 2 is better currently, but I'm interested to see how New World is going to feel, and obviously New World is new, so the end game stuff there is going to feel new and fresh for me, so I'm going to love it for a long time. But I'm interested to see what they add to it and how it plays out, and if it can retain a lot of people that maybe aren't interested in as much PvP. Thankfully, I am. Like, I love the PvP. I love the wars and all that stuff, and Outpost Rush and all that stuff, so I'll be good to go for a while. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out. How about you?
So, being the game not being out yet and seeing what they have to offer, the winner goes to Guild Wars. Obviously, I think that's a no brainer. But my thing that I like about, like, first let's define Guild Wars 2 endgame. It's raids, it's CMs, it's how good you can min-max your character with the gear that's given to you, and how well you can do game mechanics. Because there is hard game mechanics in that game.
I would also argue all the masteries.
Yeah, and the masteries. So that's part of the end game. So end game for New World has PvP, which is Outpost Rush, right? That's one of the big things. But one thing, like, obviously we have expeditions, but there's tuning orbs with expeditions. So you can make the dungeon that you like as hard. Like, you can go to Amarine Excavation, the expedition in Windsward, and you can go pet Barkimedes. But when you go do the tuning orb, you can make that tuning orb a lot harder, and then go do that content in a short form. That's what I understand about it. I could be wrong, but I know you can make tuning orbs to do it again and make it harder.
They're super costly, and by the time that you have the resources to make them, typically you've out-leveled that dungeon. Which means,
yes,
like, the tuning orbs for the level 60 dungeons are going to be extremely valuable, but those are really the ones that are probably going to get crafted. The rest you can just get through main storyline or quest lines that give you the keys.
Okay, so exactly. So for me, the end game would be for New World and tuning orb. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. That's your. That's sorry. Pritch, go ahead.
Dude, you're good. He Riker in the chat is just explaining the tuning orbs and how I think you might have said that the tuning orb was going to increase difficulty, and that it's not going to increase difficulty. It's just you just literally need one person in your party to have the key to open it in the first place. But typically, like, by the time that you would have gathered the resources and the corrupted shards that you need to craft the key to the dungeon, like, you will have outleveled that expedition.
They're actually kind of like they're kind of easy to get if you do the corrupted events. I know by the time I got to like doing like 3 or 4 of them running around, I got them, but then like it's like, nah, I don't really want to do it. But then you can sell it on the trading post or sell those items like corrupted silver or the whatever. What are they? Are they flutes? What were they? What was What was the like? You know, you can buy them from your faction. Your faction
Oh,
leader.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't remember what they were though. Because I was funneling all my resources to somebody else to make them.
Okay, you're gonna pause. We're gonna do a quick pause break. I need to know this. I can't. This is gonna drive me nuts.
Homie, I'm doing one cut of this and putting it on YouTube. There's no pauses coming here.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh God, please no, crafting recipes. Okay, so 10 corrupted silver, iron chisel. That's what it was.
Good job, Record.
Eternal heart, and then stone. Yeah, I had Eternal heart. It was the iron chisel you can buy, and you can actually get a drop. You can get drops from it, but the special ones. But yeah. Thank you. Yes, that's what the ones. I'm gonna sound like a complete moron.
It's mostly the corrupted stuff that was kind of like time gatey.
So endgame obviously goes to Guild Wars 2, but I'm excited that they're gonna have lots of improvements moving forward. If like, I really hope they have raids. Like I did Starstone Barrows. I don't know if you did, Pritch, but I really like the end of that Skeleton King Diablo 3-esque boss.
Yeah.
That was part of the Ancients. That was tons of fun. Dodging. I was heavy equipment load, and I was just getting melted by it. But still, the time of timing your dodges, that was tons of fun. And
I am a huge fan of mechanics and not of, hey, what's your gear check? So like for example, the depths, the level 45 dungeon, which was the highest dungeon I did. The first boss in that is in my opinion, was easily the best boss fight that we had. Like, it actually had mechanics where it was like, at this health percentage, you need to go do something. And if you don't do it in time, you die. And then at a later health percentage, it's, you need to go do that again, and now it's harder, and if you don't get it in time, you're dead. Like, it's not just, oh, here's my gear check. It's like, oh, I need to be smart and use my brain and go do something kind of thing. And I very, very much like those way more. And I will say the Starshine one, or Starshrine, or whatever, the level 35 one. Yeah, that one. I loved the maze. I absolutely loved the laser maze. I hope they do more of that stuff.
You mean the lasers we couldn't see?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope they're gonna fix.
I'm assuming that'll get fixed. But yes, I thought it was a ton of fun. I mean, you could see the giant spheres on the sides like that would shoot out the lasers. So like, even if that bug still exists, just look for the giant big circles that look like and sound like they're shooting out lasers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so we got three against 2. Was that what was 3 New World? And 2 against Guild Wars 2?
I was 2.5. Don't you put your labels on me? No.
Yeah, so community, PvP, crafting, player progression, and endgame. To me, they're two, like, at the end of the day, these are 2 different games. And we're comparing because Hardstuck is big into Guild Wars 2. And we both come from Guild Wars 2 backgrounds. So, I'm excited to, like, I haven't played Guild Wars in I don't know how long. Actually, I do know this, June 6th. So I heard about New World back when they had the preview event, and I jumped in the bandwagon late. And I'm looking forward to open beta, and I'm looking forward to launch, which is I get launch day off. I get it off now, so I'm pretty excited.
Congratulations! I know that was a big thing.
That was I sweet talked my boss. That's all I get now. Pritch, are you going to be having? Are you going to be
I'm
playing
gonna
open?
grind.
Well, you're not going to be playing open beta too much, but you're going to
No.
be grinding
I'll be
launch.
grinding when the game comes out for sure. And for anybody that's like that also plays Guild Wars 2 and maybe that's your main game, like I highly recommend take advantage of the fact that New World is literally free to play for 4 days starting in a week. Just get your hands on it, test it out, see if you like the feel of it, see if that kind of gameplay and those aesthetics appeal to you or not, because if it does, coming out soon and it might be a fun game for you to try out with us.
Yeah, and if you want to get involved and you want to play, because I'll be, what would you say? How I'm going to be leading? Am I going to be leading NA for Hardstuck? Is that what you? So I'll be leading NA Hardstuck for New World, and if you want to come play, I'll be posting stuff in Discord, in the Hardstuck Discord. If you guys want to play around for open beta, so. Be on the lookout for that because you'll see one in the next couple of days. Right now it's September 2nd. We're recording this, so be on the lookout for next week because we only got how many more days? 1 week. 1 week until fun for hours and hours and hours until we have to sit for another week and a half or 2 weeks. So it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. I'm glad they did open beta though. I'm really happy they did another test. I'm really happy. I remember like August 3rd, I was like, there's no way they're gonna not open the game at August 31st. There's gonna be not another beta. What happens? I was wrong on both. So you got any last words, Pritch?
I just hope the servers do well, and if they don't, that's what the beta's for.
I got nothing. I got nothing else. So you're gonna you know what? This being the first podcast, and there's a lot of mistakes, and me checking out what a chisel was, so an iron chisel. One of the things that I forgot. So go ahead, take it away, and close down the show there. Pritch.
Thank you everybody for listening. Thanks for everyone for watching. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. You can catch BarDownBeef at all his channels at BarDownBeef. You can catch me, all my channels, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter for BarDownBeef, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter for myself, Pritch. And hope you guys come and join us again in 2 weeks where we're going to be talking about all the stuff that happened during the open beta. And that is going to be happening on Thursday, September 16th. And appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.
Take care, guys.